invited guests, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It gives me tremendous joy to welcome you all to the celebration of the 5th birthday of His Grace and the annual press conference. This press conference in honor of the Archbishop, which today coincides with the World Press Day, is an annual event anchored by the Knights and Ladies of the Honored Order of Knights of St. Nigeria. Your Grace, gentlemen of the press, very distinguished brothers and sisters, the Honored Order of Knights of St. Nigeria is an association of practicing Catholics and a member of the International Association of Catholic Knights, founded in 1953 by Reverend Father Anselm Braham Ujefua of blessed memory. The order, which started with 23 members, has today to its credit 11,000 knights and 11,000 ladies cut across the length and breadth of this country. Our motto is to serve and not to be served. Your Grace, on behalf of the Knights and Ladies of the Honored Order of Knights of Nigeria, Lagos Metro Council, I wish you a very memorable birthday. Ad multus annus.
Because I made an effort to dash from that point to that point, that's why you applauded him. But I was not the one who read the speech. It was the Metropolitan Grand Knights. Can we now appreciate it? That's more like it. Now to the reason why we are here, the press conference proper. And who else will moderate the press conference than the media itself? Simon Gabriel. So we appreciate it.
My own job is so simple. It's to invite His Grace, that is to deliver the conference, open, give us His words about Nigeria and about the whole theme of the day. At the end of the day, you ask questions. Question and answer session. We hope you media too will do everything to project all that has been said here. At the end of it all, we say God bless Nigeria. God bless our church. God bless our Archbishop. Bless.
Please permit me to stand on the protocol that's already been very well established. And just to say a very warm welcome to each of you who have come to be part of the events of this day. I must begin by saying that the situation in our country makes celebrations such as this to be one of mixed feelings. On the one hand, one looks at the situation and it makes one so sad that one wonders what is there to celebrate. What is there to celebrate when nearly 300 young girls, our children, are still being held captive by the Boko Haram? And it seems there is nothing anybody can do about it. What is there to celebrate when explosives are going on from day to day? Innocent lives are being lost, young people in their prime are being slaughtered, older people are being sent to their graves with heads bowed in sorrow, properties are being destroyed, families are left to mourn their loved ones. People are being maimed. Means of livelihood are being destroyed. The Boko Haram attacks towns and villages, people are killed, families are wiped out, and it will seem as if they can inflict these horrors with complete impunity. It used to be the ordinary person on the street that was being killed. Now we see that even imams are being targeted and successfully assassinated. I continue to try and show that they can strike when and where they so choose. Apparently, no one can do anything about it. All of this and more continue to happen. and it will seem as if there is actually indeed nothing to celebrate. However, when we gather to appreciate men and women of the mass media, we cannot but feel that there is something to celebrate. There is hope. Hope that at least we have some professionals whose binding duty it is to call attention not only to the problems of our time, but also to the solutions as they are preferred by people of all political and religious persuasions. That which we believe they are doing and they will do with attention to fairness, to the truth, welfare of the nation and its peoples. So we celebrate you, our men and women of the press, with the hope and belief that you will not only inform, but use all the advantage that you have to help Nigeria overcome our present problems. The Holy Father has charged you to use your vantage point to help people realize that we are all one family. And so we should assist one another to build a safe and secure world where all peoples can live a decent and dignified life. We need a greater sense of family in our nation, perhaps than many more other places, so that we can guarantee the unity of this nation, even as we acknowledge and celebrate our diversity as a nation made up of different peoples. As it is also the anniversary of the day of my own birth, I see hope and I see the propriety of celebration, because to be alive in spite of all the challenges of our nation calls for thanksgiving to God and praise of His holy name. So I therefore use this opportunity to thank all of you who have taken out time to join me in prayers and are still here with me up to this time. May God continue to bless you. Amen. One must use an occasion such as this to advocate for the welfare of the peoples of our nation. It is almost an ad nauseam repetition to talk about insecurity in our nation. But we must keep talking about it because we do not yet see a solution. We have reached a point where government cannot afford, indeed should not, see the matter of insecurity from a narrow political point of view. Government must look beyond its boundaries to engage people who have the experience, the expertise, the intellectual capability, as well as the training to take control of the problem of insurgency that is close to a state of war declared on the nation by the Boko Haram. It is breaking the heart of all well-meaning people that those girls, the Chibok girls, are still in captivity so long after they were captured, with all the trauma that they must be going through, not to talk of the danger of their being permanently, emotionally, and psychologically damaged. The constant fear of explosives going off at every place that people gather all over the nation, but particularly in the states that we all know. So we must therefore ask our government to really look beyond its own immediate boundaries and look out towards others. Whatever political leaning, whatever other leaning they may have, but as long as they have the capability, they have the experience, they have the training, and they have the intellectual ability, it must be brought on board in order that we may begin to see a way out. But then as we speak to government and security operatives, we must not fail to continue to ask our own people, you and I, to be vigilant, to pay attention to events and people around them. Let us show interest in any strange object and person that we see, and take steps to challenge if necessary, or at least to report to the authorities concerned. Not get into apathy. We are known to be a resilient people, and so we must keep up our prayers and make the efforts that we can as individuals in order to change the situation of our nation for the better. Even though our fear of the state of anarchy may be real, we must not give in to negative actions or negative thoughts. Now, apart from insecurity, I think it is also important for us to appeal to government to do something concrete about the lingering strike by the staff of polytechnics in our country. We have been away from work, and students have been suffering for many months now. We now find our young people simply loitering about, and some of them getting into different kinds of mischief. The idle hand, they say, is the devil's workshop. Loud street parties have become the order of the day, with young people drinking away their frustration. And one wonders, who are those organizing these street parties and buying them alcoholic drinks? One wonders whether such persons would give them the financial and other kinds of support that they need in order to establish small-scale enterprises that will be useful to them, that will make them useful to themselves and the nation. I believe that the authorities concerned about our polytechnics should please ensure that this category of students get back to the classrooms and work towards their future and the future of the nation. One would like to call on the delegates there to please work in such a way that at the end, they would have come to conclusions that will ensure that we do not just continue in the same old way with the status quo merely re-emphasized. We must have perhaps a new form of governance that takes true federalism in view, such that states do not go cap in hand to Abuja every month or just receive allocation that makes them not even worry about how to develop resources in their states. We need to have a system of choosing those who occupy public office that will ensure that corruption is reduced to the barest minimum, even if it means changing the present presidential system of government that in any case is so wasteful of resources and at the same time does not encourage accountability for actions taken, nor for transparency in management of resources. I believe that those who are on that conference should consider seriously other forms of government that can be proposed to the people of this nation, so that we can at least begin to think and work and probably have a hope of something different from what we have had in these years of our independence. Now finally, as we celebrate the joy of life in this world, that is my birthday and your celebration with me, we remember the Right Reverend Monsignor Pedro Ayodele Martins, who passed on to eternal life on the 17th of May 2014. He served the church, he served the state very well. He was the first Nigerian Roman Catholic chaplain of the Nigerian Army. He was also a member of the 1979 Constitution Drafting Committee. He was a member of the Committee for the Creation of Abuja as the new Federal Capital Territory. He was chairman of the commission that looked into the complaints of civil servants who are retired after the coup that we all know about. He was also part of the process of the establishment of the Oshodi Rehabilitation Center for Armed Forces personnel, and so many other things he was involved with. Of course, he was a priest first and foremost, before all of these other things that he did. And people testify to how diligent, even if strict, they testify how diligent he was in carrying out his priestly ministry. Now, the final rites for funeral rites of Monsignor, as was announced in the church, which I would like to re-emphasize again, begins on the 9th of June with a vigil of masses, songs, and prayers, which will start at 6 p.m. as in Gregory's College premises. The funeral mass will be celebrated at the Holy Cross here on the 10th of May 2014, beginning at 10 a.m. Well, 10th of June. Oh. 10th of June. He wasn't there by 10th of May. Well, Monsignor lived for 103 years. Indeed, nearly 104, if not for 6 months that. So in many ways, Monsignor continued to serve God, and he continued to serve, to touch the lives of people, even until the end. Even though he was not able to move much around, people still are able to say, he did this, he did that, he told them this and told them that. And so I ask that we pray for continue to pray for the repose of his soul, and make every effort to be part of a funeral, of a decent and appropriate funeral rites of this man of God who has gone to rest. So may his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Please keep the applause going. Keep the applause going. If I don't do this now, we may never do it again. Once again, in this press hall, it's a press conference. And since we are all standing and the birthday boy is sitting, can we sing a happy birthday song? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. His grace. Happy birthday to you. God bless you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. His grace. May the good Lord bless you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Many more years to you. Many more years to you. His grace. Many more years to you. Hip, hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip, hip. Hooray! Thank you very much. 103. So we have to bring all that and sit down.
We realize today is Sunday, raining, cold, damp. People know we are very happy at it all. So we will welcome questions from the press. Questions, straight, short, to the point. But above all, His Grace has said so much about the state of the nation. We would like to see it at the end of the day. So questions, just raise your hand, identify yourself, ask straight questions.
Thank you. Identify your media house, identify your name, and then you ask your questions as brief as possible. Yes.
His Grace, congratulations. I belong to CAEAN, the Catholic Artists and Entertainers Association of Nigeria. We are filmmakers, the Nollywood of the Catholic Church. What is happening today did not start today. Lucifer saw God and got jealous and challenged God. That was the first one. Then the Catholic Church started and we had the Crusades. The Crusade is like what is the Boko Haram of those days. The Catholic Church prayed and defeated the Crusaders, the Nomads, those who were fighting the Christians at that time. That is to say, the Christians went through persecution. That is happening again here. We have CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria. We have Christians, the churches, Catholic Church number 1, the Pentecostal Church or churches, big money, GOs, private jets, and so on. If our CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria, bring their resources together. No. Let me say before I ask the question now. All right. Will they not save Nigeria if they bring their resources together? Jesus Christ said, if you have 2 clothes, sell one and give your neighbor to the other one. If I'm asking the question, if we bring our resources together, if we bring our prayers together, will God not save this country from the place?
Like I said earlier, please, question, straightforward.
I know what you were saying, but again, that's left for the Archbishop to answer.
My name is Otto Onyemadanije, an evangelizer. I'm also a member of the Catholic Artists. First and foremost, I want to say happy birthday to you, Holy Father. Thank you for that. But I'm sure he still shares from the benefit of the book. My question is this: as a member of Kanyan, we have passed through so many pains, especially in the Lagos Archdiocese. And being an entertainment body that came up lately before so many organizations in the church, we know that's how it should be. Now, coming to the grassroots, in the parish levels, we have had this association in various parishes. But for it to stand, it's a tug of war. And the body has been approved by the CBCN. Please, how can you help us achieve the stability, the growth and healthiness of this association in the various parish levels? Thank you.
I have in the newspaper where I work now. I didn't have it in this day newspaper and the National Mirror where I worked before. I told my MD when he gave me this book, I said, give me an opportunity to write about Catholicism in the worship page, and he gave me the go-ahead. Whenever I see any Catholic program, I try to cover it. And I noticed that sometimes when priests talk, want to take picture, they tell you, don't put my picture, don't do this, don't this, we just want to be in the... I said, in the Vatican, you can open the net and we see everything that the Pope does. Why are priests not encouraging journalists to write about them and use their pictures? That is my question. Thank you.
Well, I think in the first instance, it is difficult for me to understand how you can equate the crusade with Boko Haram. I think they don't seem to me to be the same thing at all. Yeah. In the sense of the fact that in the crusades, they didn't go around bombing or holding people to ransom. They didn't go around killing innocent people. There was a straight war, or there are straight wars that were fought. And if the Boko Haram was in such a place that you could identify an army that you can face and fight, you would say, okay, probably you have been able to know what to do with Boko Haram. But we cannot anyway equate the Boko Haram phenomenon with the Crusades. That was an issue in the past that had a purpose and it was defined and it was carried through and it ended. Whatever judgment you may like to put about it is another thing, but it certainly does not seem to me to be like Boko Haram in any way. Now you're talking about bringing resources of the Christian church together. Well, I suppose if you're referring to the spiritual resources of the church, certainly it is absolutely necessary that we bring that spiritual resource together. That is the prayers that everybody continues to offer. Obviously, we go a long way in ensuring that God takes care and assists us as we bring to an end the present problems that we have. But actually, if you were bringing material or financial resources together, I reckon you are probably referring to the fact that, okay, there is a lot of poverty in the country, for which you say you believe that that's what's responsible for Boko Haram. I don't know whether I'm interpreting you appropriately. Now, if that is what we are talking, I think that's something completely different, which is really not in the first brief of the church to face. Of course, it is important that the church would find ways and means of ensuring that it supports people who are in need, that it finds ways and means of ensuring that it helps to alleviate poverty. And I think that different churches, using different means, have been doing the best that they can to ensure that in terms of credit facilities that are offered by many parishes to people, young people and others who are in need of it. In terms of the different associations within the church who take care of different needs of different young people in different circumstances. So different churches have different means of dealing with this situation. And I can assure you that the Catholic Church is doing its own best in that regard also. But I think we cannot run away from the fact that providing jobs and providing an enabling environment for people to thrive is duty of government.
Yes.
It's first and foremost the duty of government to ensure that it creates the environment that will make people to go into different kinds of enterprise, to ensure that it even gives them the kind of break that they need, in order that they can set up properly. We have a situation in which electricity and other facilities that are needed are not in place to help people to establish jobs, to establish their own enterprises. So, whereas we can recognize the fact that the church has a role to play in alleviating poverty, we must also not overemphasize it to the extent that we do not begin to recognize whose is the primary duty of taking care of people and their welfare in the nation. So if that's what we are referring to by talking about pulling resources together, I believe that this is the sort of reaction that I can have towards it. Well, you mentioned that KM somebody mentioned that KM has its problems in Lagos Archdiocese. Well, if KM has a problem in Lagos Archdiocese, I think in the first instance, KM should not be a parish-based kind of thing. If there are individuals within the parishes that are members, let us first of all identify them. And if we find out that there are so many of them in each parish that we need to have different parish groups, then you would go in that direction. But I think if we started from the other direction of saying parishes should establish them, I think we would be given parishes and a duty that is not necessarily that of the parish. Let members of KAYAM find ways and means of identifying its members wherever they are. And when it finds ways and means of identifying them, then it can decide on what structure to use in making sure that it thrives and continues to grow. So I am not sure that we can pass the responsibility to the parish to establish. So, but of course, again, on the other hand, if there are issues about founding and all of that. I think you will probably need to present a concise, pointed set of issues that you have and create an opportunity to present them, and then we'll know how to deal with them. That's all I really can say about that. Now, writing about the church, and well, I'm not sure that there is any priest who would not wish that good stories and issues concerning the faith and the growth of the faith will not be, that will not cooperate to ensure that that is done. Perhaps the person who asked the question met with some challenge, with some particular person or with two particular persons. Maybe that is where that is coming from. However, what I know is that the church recognizes the need for using all the media of social communication to carry out, to profess the faith and to proclaim the faith to the ends of the earth. All priests recognize that. So if there is a particular problem, let us deal with the problem in particular, and then we'll be able to know exactly where the problem is or what the problem is. I'm not sure the union has come to the Chancellor, for example, and it wasn't entertained, or Holy Cross. So I'll say that let us just identify a problem where it is and deal with it as such. Message to owners of media outfits. Well, of course, we hear it from time to time, and indeed we see it from time to time in the way media persons appear and carry out their duties, that sometimes find out they are not receiving that which is their just desert compared with the work that they are doing. I mean, that we cannot deny. And so we need to ask the owners of media houses to continue to take a look at what needs to be done in order to ensure the welfare of men and women of the media. In the past editions of World Communications Day, these were part of what was addressed, welfare of journalists. But of course, it cannot be something that recalls all the years. I cannot mention everything in one presentation. So we recognize that, and I am sure that even in one of the sessions here, has been one of the appeals that I have had to make. If there is anyone in particular that needs particular attention, please draw our attention to it and we'll see what is possible. Well, the Boko Haram is obviously a problem that touches on everybody, as I mentioned, as I alluded to. And we are all concerned about it. And we are all concerned to find what is the best solution to these problems. Of course, the first area that the church would think of is to engage in prayers. And I can tell you that as soon as these problems began to arise again, we were reminded to go to the prayers that we have been saying before, which had already gone to, we had already begun to abandon in some of the places. Prayer for Nigeria in distress, prayer against bribery and corruption. And indeed, in recent times, you remember that we had the prayer, 1 hour of adoration in all parishes, in all the dioceses in Nigeria. These are the ways by which we do that. And then, of course, we have opportunities like this to draw attention to the problem. And that's what I believe we are doing at this point in time. We have opportunity to meet with government officials at different forums, and we bring up these matters to them. So the church is doing the best that it could, short of going on the streets and carrying placards and doing the same kind of things that are done by others. Now, the action that is taken by non-governmental organizations and so, they are very vital, very important, that people draw attention to the problems. And but it is not necessary. It is not necessary that everyone should engage in the same act of protest. I think if we went through this act of praying, and that is our main area, and went through the act of sensitizing people as to what they need in order to limit the damage that Boko Haram causes, and in order to also encourage government to do what needs to be done, I think it cannot be said that the church is not making efforts with regards to the present problems at our hands. And you remember too that in many of the parishes, in many of the dioceses, the bishops and priests are engaged with other interest groups in discussion, in dialogue, to see what can be done at their own local levels to ensure that security issues are addressed. So let us just know that the church is doing what it can in these present circumstances. Maybe there is more that could be done. Let us know, in particular, if there is more that could be done.
Geraldine, hey, you know, so you dey here when soup when you put for fire don't burn? Oh, you dey take the price phone. Oh, mama. What did you do for the phone, sir?
Don't you collect this phone like this?
You take Facebook. Wait, how many times me and your papa don't want you? Make you know they chat for phone again. Make you know they do this.
What did happen for this house?
Don't let papa hear.
Una wan burn down my house?
No best of on your pikin.
What did she do again?
She dey press for phone o. Now see, he dey chat for Facebook.
Papa, no vex abeg.
Hey, Jiro.
Papa.
How many times when I don't want you say leave Facebook and face your group?
Papa, no vex.
Where the phone? You can't get the phone again. I don't see that.
Hey, I'm talking about the friend in the chat though.
Don't let me swear for you. How far I go there for Facebook? Shut up! You don't know some abomination.
Look at you. See in profile picture here.
Oh, people open He na bro for that day for Facebook. Come on, bro.
Papa, go look at it.
This one na abomination. I go report am for this. No. How far that way go teach you morals? Go call them for Facebook.
Papa, hey, Papa, don't give me up.
A round of applause for the brother. Wonderful. Wonderful.
They are not true. They are not true.
What a life. How can our father be Facebooking? In fact, we cannot take that again. How can father be chatting? Facebooking. It could be even WhatsApping. Oh. A priest for that matter.
So,
what morals is he passing to our children?
what about it? Me, Achiki.
Come, our children don't get morals again. Because they don't dey chat with father for Facebook. This is an abomination.
And even just 2 days ago, my neighbor's son was also arrested for the so-called Yahoo and Yahoo. In fact, this is the community. It should not be
Sandine!
Hey, Mr. Ekwadua. Hey, everybody for here, I know say, now your child, I catch am for Yahoo Yahoo.
orí ìyá mi ẹlẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ẹni tí ò ní irú ẹni kò lè mọ yẹni because you don't have a solid mind that's the reason.
It's okay.
Let me teach her.
It's okay. Don't do. Father, don't come. Welcome.
Father, I beg, make I know best. Wallahi, I don't know why some people are still living in the past. So we are now in global world. What? Wallahi, communication, I don't